Hey! What's going on, Mecha Army? Welcome to the Chata Mecha live stream. I am your host, Tim, the one and only Chata Mecha. We are going to jump back on this Team SD Buildoff build, right? Let's see, we've got about 3 days to finish it. We'll worry about that later. Fun till June, right? Anywho. Repping the Mecha Army today. You should be too. If you are interested in getting one of these shirts, I highly recommend that you hit up www.chatamecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find this shirt, many more, hats, prints of my work, all sorts of other cool stuff in there. Go load it up right now. Okay? If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we're going to be working with here today, there's an Amazon link somewhere below here on Twitch. That side, if you're watching on Rewind that. Somewhere down here if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube. That side if you're watching on Facebook. Jesus. I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it does not increase the cost for you. Okay? Let's see. Hoo-ha. Let's see. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Like I said, tools and materials, books for inspiration, gear for streaming. If you want to get into that, now's the perfect time. It goes to help out me, help out the stream, and fuel our endeavors moving forward. What is going on? I got a little right here. Just Anywho. If you need kits, paints, accessories, tools, what have you, Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2 are both in stock and shipping now. Hit up our good friends right down here. Adam and the fine folks at USA Gundam Store will definitely have what you need. Now, let's clear this up right now. There we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Much better. That's much better. Very, very good. Let's see. Let's get a-hole Alexa. Get her turned off. Get the monitor on here because I forgot to do that because everything was happening just before the damn stream again today. Craziness, you guys. Craziness. So, bear with me here, and we'll get into it. And bada boom, bada bing. All right, so good deal there. All right, so let's bring you up to speed with where we are with this thingy here. Okay. William Wilm says it can be done. What? It can be done, Tim. Do a 24-hour stream to finish it. Oh yeah. No, that's not going to. That's not going to happen. We're not doing a 24-hour stream. I can't do that. No. Alexandra says, did you manage to sneak it? Yes, I did get a walk in today. 2 miles. Actually, almost 2.5, so wasn't bad, right? Wasn't bad. Anyway, let's go camera 2. All right, so... If you guys remember last time we were working on this thing way back on Thursday morning, or afternoon, I should say, we worked on these two, well, this one, and went ahead and duplicated that positive, bulky design there, and I think that came out rather nice, fairly... Yeah, it looks fairly symmetrical. Yeah, I think so. Pretty good. So yeah, got that done. And then on the one that we actually worked on, went ahead and scribed in those details that we had designed actually on Thursday, right? So we got these little designs here on the side. We've got these two raised strips there. And then we've got that cap scribed in, and that's looking really, really quite nice with the little 3-line rule, scribe underneath of that, raised detail in there, and then the same kind of thing on this side as well. So all together, I think that looks pretty dang good, and we're going to be duplicating that a little bit here today, and then we're going to jump on the actual rest of the back skirt here, if time permits, of course, right? Because that's going to be the big factor. But I think it should, because most of this is just scribing anyway, so it's not going to be all that difficult, right? Now, one thing to keep in mind, what you're going to see here today is mostly going to be freehand scribing, okay? Raw dogging it. As I always say, don't do what I'm about to do unless you're extremely comfortable with your chisels and your hand stability. Because if you have any questions about that whatsoever, use tape. Okay? This is not going to be for the faint of heart. Alex Andrews wants to know, aren't you going to show off the rifle, Tim? No, not on this stream. We're going to do that on the late stream, because that has to do with GBWC, the GBWC build. This is the SD build. Haha. So I'm going to keep y'all waiting for that, because it does look good, and I'm pretty happy with it. So, but yes, you got to wait for it. Gotta wait for it. Anyway, all right, so let's get this going here, shall we? Now, one of the things with this piece, what we're going to do is to focus. There we go. You can see that there's some angle breaks in here. Carl Carlston, hey, thank you for the sub. Appreciate that. You get one of these. Hey, welcome to the Mecha Army. Thank you. There we go. Reload that. Excuse me. He says, fair enough. Was just curious, because once before you gave people a teaser in the SD streams above the... Yeah, no, I did. This one... I don't know. This one I think needs a lot more explanation, so to spoil it... right now on this one, I want to hold it off for tonight. Just build up that anticipation, right? So, anyway, back to this. So, on this piece, there's definite angle breaks, and you can see there right along here with the varying shadows and highlights that you see there on screen, right? So, especially, right there, that's actually a good angle. So you can see that this panel right here is a different angle than, this whole side piece there. So, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be scribing right on that angle break, so we can basically make this cap look separate from everything else, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Excuse me. Now... like I said, the hard part is freehanding this thing. I could put tape down. I totally could. It would take me twice as long to do it that way as opposed to freehanding it. Just raw dogging this thing. But again... don't do what I'm about to do unless you're completely 100% comfortable with your skill set. Okay? I can't stress that enough. But anyway, let's get into it, yeah? Alright. So, first things first, we are going to spin this thing around. We're going to start down at this bottom end. Okay? And we're going to basically angle this chisel at a very low angle, kind of like almost parallel, but just above. So what that's going to do, that's going to take off just a hair, just a little thin strip of plastic. Now, I was just about to push into this plastic, and just me talking completely throws it off. So I'm gonna stay quiet while I do this in between lines. So keep aware of that. Okay. Okay, actually we're going to go from this side here. I think this will be a little bit easier. Yep. Okay. There's the start of the line. We've got that groove set in there. And I know it's probably very hard to see on screen, but once we get a little bit of depth in this thing, you'll be able to see the contrast. And let's see if we can't. There, you can see it a little bit, right? A little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right, so we're going to do the same thing on this side, right? We're going to get these lines cut in first. These long, long lines. These are the most difficult ones. So that's why I like to kind of tackle these first. Let's make sure we're on screen there. There we go. All right. Nice. Nice straight line there. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Happy with that. Happy, happy, happy. Reinforce that line just a little bit. Just get a little bit more depth in there. Alright, so now we're going to come up these two other sides here, these two little angles here. These will be a little bit easier because they're actually in a groove. Okay. There's that side. Okay, and there's that side. All right, good, good, good. All right. Those are looking good. Let's get these a little bit reinforced. Make sure everything's nice and connected. And now this straight line across the front. Excuse me. This is coming together pretty nicely. Happy so far, but we're still not to the most difficult part yet. These long lines on the side, they were difficult, but they're not nearly as difficult as what we're about to do with the 3-line design up at the top here. Now, let's get this evened out down here at the bottom. There's that. All right. Whew. Focus. There we go. So we've got that first basically 3/4 of the design scribed in, the two sides and then the bottom there. And that's already starting to look like a separate piece now, right? So now comes the really hard part. Now comes the, ooh, there you can see it right there, just below the top, this top detail piece, that 3-line design right up at the top there. That's the hardest part. That's the part that I freehanded as well. And I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. It was not easy at any little bit. So let's establish. We need to establish our horizontal first. Okay. We're going to come in about 1.5 millimeters. Make sure everything's nice and connected. And then we're going to do our best to eyeball a parallel line here. Again, about 1.5 millimeters. Okay. Now, that line looks a little bit high actually now that I look at it. Let's see. No, that line actually looks pretty good. Okay, good. But we're going to have to get a little creative with the side here because the two lines don't connect. But now, with just a little line tapering, haha, they do connect. Whew, okay, so doing this without anybody watching is much less nerve-wracking than it is with people watching. That is for sure. Okay. All right. So now we need to scribe in our diagonals. Just like that. Then we make sure that these are parallel with our other two, the endpoints, that is. We make sure the endpoints of these diagonals are parallel with the other horizontals. So now that looks pretty good. Reinforce these. Make sure those are nicely connected. Make sure we clean out the debris in these lines. Much better. All right, let's reinforce this diagonal here. Okay. Whew. All right, so let's see if we can get some shadows here so you guys can see the work. You can see it a little bit there on either side, but it's not a great shot, obviously, because this is a white part. The contrast is not the greatest, right? So here goes nothing with this last horizontal. Now, this is where everything gets hairy. Boom. But we got it connected. That's what matters now. Thank you, Pabs. Almost worth it. Pabs with the $5 super chat. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Here you go. He says, I wanted to send this till after you're done. See? I care. Much love, Timbo. Thank you. He says the timing. Right? It's all good. It's all good. It's the thought that counts, right? It's the thought that counts. Okay. Get that junk off of there. Okay. Now we just need to clean all this up. Reinforce the lines and then sand it smooth, and then we're basically good to go. That's easier said than done, though. Okay. So not terrible. You know what we can do? We can get a little bit more creative. Let's do something like this. And this is basically to hide our crimes, right? Because this is the problem, kids. Even though I feel very comfortable with my skill set and how I in my hand stability and everything, we're off just a hair. We're off just a hair on connecting these two lines right here. Now, way to get around that is to increase the size of the line. Well, it's when you go and you pull out your 0.3 and you make a mistake into a notch. And that is how we do it. Now, actually what we're going to do, we're going to make this a little bit bigger. We're going to go 0.6. And we're just doing a little something here. Perfect. That's perfect sized notch right here. Oh yes, and that looks good. That looks really quite nice. So we'll duplicate this on the other side, just to, again, hide our crimes, right? But that's actually, now that we're being honest with one another, I actually like that better. Yeah. Bit more of a mechanical look if I do say. Is it a bit of a shortcut in terms of scribing and fixing mistakes and everything like that? Yeah, absolutely. But it's a good looking way to fix your mistakes. Okay, let's make sure all the rest of these lines are nicely connected, reinforced, proper depth, all that jazz, you know? Okay. There we are. All right, so now, last thing to do with this cap here is to put the two little notches on either side here, right? All right, so to do that, we've got our 2mm scribing jig here, and we're just going to follow the contour of this piece. Like that. And just like that. Easy. So now we know where to locate our two smaller little notches here. Okay. Chisel discipline. For this, we're going to do 0.3. And again, we're just going to very gently freehand these into place. Okay. Just like that. All right, let's get these. Good. All right. Let's go with this right here. There you go. There you go. All right, so let's show you what we've got. Yeah? All right, let's get super zoomed in. Yeah? Let's see. Ooh. Just like that. And now, bingo. Well, that's not focused, is it? Let's get better focus here. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. Happy with it. Happy with it. Yeah. Oh, my, oh, my. So you got your before, you got your after. Subtle differences, subtle variations, but I'm not worried. Because after all, this is just an SD. But not too bad. Not too bad. Happy with it. Yeah. All right. Whew, boy, oh boy. Let's see. Let's get caught up with the chat, shall we? Let's see. Let's see. Mikey Wine is over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, I'm watching, Tim. What's going on, Mike? Mr. V Tiger's over there as well. He says, nice. Thank you, V. Appreciate that. Scuffles is over there on Twitch. He says, hey, I'm watching. Let's see. Let me see. Seth Boyd's got a question for us. Okay.
We have a question.
Here we go. Seth wants to know, do you have any tips for cleaning up seams? Just got a master grade, I think you mean high grade cardigan, and it has a lot of them. Yeah, well, that's probably high grade, yeah. So, pretty simple stuff, really, and actually, I was just kind of filling, or, you know, working on seams and stuff like that for another build that I'm doing that will be revealed at a later date. But, here's kind of what you want to see, right? Now, obviously, this is a figure, and this has just this long ass side seam down the side there. So what I like to do is to get my hobby knife and push these two parts apart, just about the width of the blade, right? Just get them very, very close to one another. And then up near the top or the bottom or something like that, take your solvent glue of choice, Tamiya Plastic Magic, which is what we use, and then just drip that into the very, very top there. And what that's going to do through capillary action is just going to just flow right down the plastic and everything. Once you got all your pieces done up that way, you want to squeeze the shit out of them, right? Obviously, you can see that little bead that has come out on that side, and then that little bead that has come out on that side on that seam, and that's exactly what we want to see, because that means that both of these pieces are now completely fused together and are probably never going to come apart again. Hopefully, right? But anyway, so to clean this up, what I would do first is just take your blade, right? And what I would do is just simply start by scraping this seam away, just like this, right? Just like that. Whoop. And that there, that's going to make that seam pretty much disappear. Now, obviously, I still need to go back here and just kind of really finish it, but you kind of see the fingernail test, the tracks from that come across, right? Gunpla in Miami, Chris, with the host. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. But see how we went up and down? Yeah, that's the tracks for fingernail test. There's no gap there now. That's how you do it, right? Now, if you really wanted to get super, super, super fancy, you know, little sandpaper right up and down this thing. And then now, I dare anyone to point out where the seam is, right? That seam is effectively gone. This is now one piece fused together for all of eternity, right? Primer, paint, bada boom, bada bing. Easy, done. That's all she wrote. So yeah, that's what I do. Let's see, Julius. Sarge, he's got a question over here. Let's reload the button. There we go. He says, when scribing, are you trying to make the scribes a certain depth? Yeah, you know, just and I don't shoot for a certain depth. I just look for contrast. I look for shadow, right? It has to be, obviously, you know, what I look for is, well, that's the wrong one. Will this line hold panel lining fluid, right? Will it go in that line and saturate all of that? That's my main focus, right? So, yeah, that's what I would say. Thank you, Will. He says, Seth, if you have a question for Tim, then start your message with the word question in all caps. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a hardcore rule. It's just one of those things where I can notice it easier, right? So, yep. Thank you, William. Appreciate that. Hey, Gmod's over there. What up, dude? He says, yay, claps, right? So that's, basically what we do, right? Robert Cottrell, he's over there in the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, hey, Tim. What's going on, Robert? Good to see you, buddy. Let's expand this a little bit so I can see the comments a little bit easier. Come on, Facebook. You're killing me. Facebook's going to react in about 30 seconds, and then we'll hear the video on a delay. And there it is, like clockwork. Mute that. There we go. Jesus Christ. Called it, right? Oh, fun stuff. Anyway. All right. So, next thing we have to do with this, we've got our cap all done up there. We've got our notches on the front. That's all looking good. Next, we're going to tackle, these two. Let's get a super zoom so you guys can see exactly what the hell I'm doing. There. Bring back the windows. There we go. Let's see. Kyle H wants to know, is Batman patient 0 for COVID? Kyle, did you get your envelope yet? Everybody else seems to have gotten theirs. Pab says, patient 0, he's our only hope at this point. Kyle says, but Gotham's Batman, but Wuhan's Batman. Kyle, just shut up. Jesus. Anyway. Sorry, everyone, for Kyle's prepubescent humor. Anyway. Yeah, how about that? Okay, so, with that being said, what we're going to do is we're going to play off of these angles that are already established. Now, for this, I will definitely be using tape, right? Kyle says I did. Thank you, Tim. Oh, good. Alex Andrews says, I think I just lost some brain cells because of that. Yeah, no, you're not the only one, Alex. Trust me, you're not the only one. Come on. If I could get these little pieces of tape out of here, we'd all be in good shape, right? There we go. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking. Alright. So we just need these two little guys right there. That should be plenty of tape for us. And what we're going to do is we're going to tape these down and follow these angles, right? Actually, one thing we have to do first is we have to mark our lines. So let's do that real quick. Let's get a thinner one here. There we go. Alright, so we're basically just marking our lines here, right? And now, where did I... Ah, cool. All right. So I'm basically having both of these lines. This is how I'm basically designing this, right? This panel actually hits that little angle break, and then I drew from this angle again to that little angle break. That's what sets off this panel. That's how I design mine, right? Now, the trickier part is the distance between this top angle break here and the top of the scribe line. And that, if I remember correctly, is roughly 2 millimeters. Yeah, should be 2 millimeters. Let's see. Here we go. We'll just cut a length of this. And this is just a 2 millimeter strip, right? And what we did, I matched it up right there to the angle break, and then that makes the top of that little, I guess, trapezoid or rhombus or whatever the hell the name is. I honestly really don't care. But that creates that line just like, focus, just like that, right? So this section in here is going to become our panel. Just like that. Okay? All right, let's get to cutting. Okay, so first things first, we're going to create this line first. All right. 0.15. And we're going to scribe down from our top line. Okay. And we'll pull this tape, then carefully align it with the actual overhang for this panel here that we're creating, and do the same thing from our top line. Just like that. Okay. Now, last but not least, we'll pull this and we will connect these two pieces, or these two lines, right? All right. All right. And then watch out for flying Dymo tape, kids, because evidently that's now a thing. All right, so now do a little bit of clean up sanding here and get all the graphite off of this thing. Maybe. Okay. That's weird. It's a weird dark striation in this plastic. I thought it was graphite, but it's definitely not. Very odd. Okay. Let's get the last little bit of dust and debris out of this line, and then I'll show you what we got here. Okay. All right. So there's those two. Let's get you zoomed in, shall we? All right, just like that. And there we go. Hey. All right. So before and after, right? Sometimes matching up the panel design and everything is actually just as easy as pointing to one singular other point of interest on your piece, right? So for instance, for this piece, both of these panel lines here and here point right there to that corner, right? Simple as that. It's as simple as that. And that all matches. Looking pretty good, right? Looking pretty good. Yeah. Easy. Easy stuff. And then for the flip side, kind of makes it even easier at that point, right? So there you go. Done deal. Done deal. All right, so let's see. Let's get caught up with the chat, shall we? Colin Barrs over there on YouTube says Tim talking like Bob Ross now, telling us to follow the angles. Didn't he tell you to follow like the landscape or something like that? Could be different. Anyway, Written Wisely's over there on YouTube as well. He says the scientists still can't prove. Yeah. Josh Brown is over there on YouTube. How was your weekend, Tim? Not bad. Not bad. Not terrible. Got the GBWC beam rifle in a good place. So cheers for that, right? But yeah, not too bad. I didn't get done what I wanted to get done as an overall, but what are you gonna do? CML says, I think he said because it was just quicker than taping. Oh, yeah. Oh, Chris Pabs has the question.
We have a question.
He says, was there a particular reason you free-handed those initial lines, or was it answered already? And yeah, Sam says, he said, I think it's just quicker. Yeah, it was just quicker, honestly. That would have taken me twice as long to measure out, pull tape, put tape down, do all that crap. Yeah. for me, it was just easier to do it freehand. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Let's see. Oh, look at this over on Twitter. Hi, my name is Irby. They say, what are you making? Oh, dude, we're working on this high-grade SD concoction unicorn for the Team SD Buildoff over on Instagram. Yeah. Pab says, sounds good, Sam. I thought he was just flexing. Oh, no. No. That was just actually just time saving. Kyle says, why not use some tape to transfer the design? Don't need to. Yeah. Sam L says it was a soft flex. No, it wasn't. Come on. Josh Brown says that's good. And Robert Cottrell says Bob Ross is the best. No arguments from me. No arguments from me. All right, kids, let's continue on this little path here that we've walked down. Let's see, where's that little... Here it is. All right, so next we need to put... Come on, you. We need to put some of this down. And obviously, we're still in super zoom here, so you can kind of understand how thin this little plastic strip is here, right? So let's get out of super zoom. Now, what you're seeing here is 0.5 millimeter. This little strip is 0.5 millimeter in width, 1/4 millimeter in thickness. So this is a very, 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 very thin, fine little strip of plastic, right? And I think this might be the smallest strip that Evergreen makes. I think it is. I could be wrong, but I think it is. Anyway, let's see. What was the measurement on these? That was what? 14 millimeter. 14 millimeter is what we need. So there's no use in cutting this on the chopper, mainly because the chopper's not going to hit it. If you had this thing backed up all the way to the backstop, it's going to fall between the mat and the backstop and the blade and everything like that, and the blade's just not going to cut it. It's just no use. And it's so thin, it's just like there's no point to it at this point. But what we will do is we'll use our T-square here, and we'll cut lengths of this, right? So we need 14, which is right about there. Okay. Just like that. We'll cut another one here. Just like that. So there we go. There's our two little 14 millimeter strips, right? Now, what we need to do, let's make sure that we've got... Bingo. Okay, cool. These are properly... the proper length for both of these. And I'm going to put this little strip over there so I don't lose it. And next thing we're going to do is we need to get a little super glue on these bad boys. But first, let's go back here. And we need to redo these marks to make sure that we are in the right spot for these, right? So let's lay some graphite back down on this thing. Same thing on this side here. Just like that. So there we know where our strips need to be laid down. Now we're looking at 3 millimeter out. So let's see. I think this should be 3 millimeter, right? Nope, that's 4. go. Okay. So we'll just grab a 3.2 millimeter strip here, and we'll use this as our gauge. And that's essentially where the top of these strips are going to land. So we know all that. We know placement, all that good stuff. We just get a little bit of drop of super glue on this little pallet here. And let's see. We ever so carefully stab these with our hobby knife, just like that. And we can just kind of run these through super glue a little bit. And now we'll ever so carefully place these down okay. Just like that. That looks good. That looks good. All right. Do the same thing here. Shit. Nah. This little one is not cooperating. Okay. Let's see if we can place this. I am doubtful. But we might have success here. I don't know. We might have some success. We'll press that in place and we'll kind of go from there, right? Let's see. Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I'll take that. Alright, so now we just even these bad boys up here a little bit. Very nice. Alright, so now we've got our little strips of plastic on either side, so that's looking good there. And let's see, there's one more step that, actually a few more steps that we have to take. Let's see, what was that? That was 2 millimeter, it looks like. Yeah, okay. So, there's a scribe line right down here at the bottom, 2 millimeter around that bottom perimeter. So we're going to need to scribe that in here real quick. And 0.15. Let's do a time check. 4:15. Very good. Making good time. All right. Okay, 2 millimeter from the bottom. Now, the problem with the sides is there's no flat part to base the scribing jig on. So, again, we're gonna have to freehand this thing. Okay. Looks good there. Let's do the other side here real quick. Okay. Good there. All right. Whew. A little nerve-wracking, but we're in good shape. We're in good shape, kids. We're in good shape. All right, so now we've got, let's see, we've got those little scribes down there at the bottom. Now, one last little detail. I don't know if y'all saw this. But right down here at the bottom, I notched out that a little bit right down there. Just a hair, right? Just a hair. Nothing crazy. So we'll notch out a little bit of that. Now we just have to flatten this out. Okay. Bevel around that just to make it match to everything. And stand up. Here we go. Matchy matchy. Haha. Woo. My oh my. All right, so let's get one last little super zoom in here on this thing. There you can see the little notches. Ooh, the left one is a little off. Yeah. The left one's a little off. So let's fix that, shall we? Let's fix that. Where do you need to fix that? There we go. A little bit better. Much better. Yeah. There we are. So, little notches, little scribing, little plastic strip, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Gets you the whole look, right? Excuse me. All right. Josh Brown says, let's make some happy little panel lines there. It's basically what we did, right? Let's see. Charles Dodge over there on YouTube, he says the lab created theory has been... yeah, about that. Okay. Alex Andrews says, don't lose that, Tim. Yeah, right. Kyle H says the carpet is waiting and is hungry. For real. With that little strip there. Merritt Philbin. What's going on, Merritt? He says, afternoon all. He says, damn, nice. Terry T's over there on YouTube. He says, hello. Now that you're here, can you tell us a bit more about your Suzabi Verlogic? Talking to Merritt. Nice. And Brandon's over there. He says, hey, everybody, glad I can make it. What's going on, Brandon? Brandon had a birthday this past weekend. Happy birthday, Brandon. Christian Kovesi's over there on Facebook. He says, what are the square plot plate things, and how many do you have? The square plot plate things. And Christian, I can only imagine that you're talking about these that I'm about to show you. Let's see. Let's go back. Yeah. These things, right? This is what you're talking about? Probably. These are called scribing jigs, and I just made these, created these myself. Not sure if anybody else used them kind of before me, but I don't necessarily want to take the credit for creating them, but I kind of think I did. I don't know. Anyway, these are just a bunch of little scribing jigs that I made in various sizes. Various plastic strip sizes, basically what it comes down to. Yeah, I got a whole rack of them basically here, right? I even got a little teeny tiny little guy right there, right? But then I got this big old mamma jamma here, right? But then it doesn't stop there, right? It doesn't stop there, because not only can you do L shapes, you can do T shapes, right? And you can do reverse kind of things like this, right? Because what I did with this was this was for the upper arm of the Jesta here, right? Focus. And what I did right there, scribe that line, flip it around, go the other side, scribe in the mirror of the first one. Simple stuff, right? Simple stuff. Now, he says, why 6.3? It's so specific. That, my friend, is a wonderful, wonderful question. And it has to do with these. These are evergreen scale plastics. Now, what you'll see is, let's see here. We've got the 1 millimeter. Let's see, we got the 1 millimeter, 1.5. The 1 obviously has rubbed off from using it so much. We've got 2 millimeter here, same thing with the 1 millimeter, 3.2, 4 millimeter, 4.8, and then 6.3, right? The reason for that is because those are the increments that come in Evergreen's strip, right? So 1.5, 2, 2.5. I haven't made a 2.5 yet. I never really needed it. There's 3.2, 4.0, 4.8, and boom, 6.3. That's basically why it's so specific, right? Because I'm using pre-cut strip to make these, right? So that's the reason. That's the simple reason of it all, right? Now you can do angled jigs like that. You can do simple shapes like that. What else? Where did that other one go? You can make jigs that have an awkward angle, such as that. Here's another angled bit. That's 45. I think that's 60 degrees. Yeah, and I have a bunch of them too, right? I got a bunch of them. Like, this whole bin here is nothing but scribing jigs, right? Got an old school kind of 45 cutting deal here. We've got this angled, specific angle. I forget what this angle is. I don't even know anymore. But did that. Let's see. We even got, you know, something like that, you know, that's thin, but it's kind of on the longer side, right? So those are the kinds of, you know, things that you can do. And I mean, it's just really limited by your imagination at that point, too. Another really interesting little scribing jig that I did were these guys right here. And what these are plug. These are plug jigs, is what I call them, right? So these were for the high mobility Zaku, right around at the bottom where the energy cables connect. These would plug into there. They was basically plug into those holes. I have a smaller piece of plastic that fit perfectly inside of that, and then a larger piece there that is the template for my scribe line. Plug that into the hole, scribe around this, transfer it to the other side. You have a perfectly mirrored, symmetrical, panel line around the connection point for your energy cables. Same thing with this, but on a much smaller scale, right? You've got a smaller piece of plastic here that plugs into the hole, and then you've got your larger piece. Your larger piece here, that is your scribing template. And obviously I marked both of these with a black mark signifying the top of each one. So, yeah, you can make all sorts of different, scribing jigs. Like, here's an interesting one that I did for airdrop, right? And what this is, and we'll get the other piece here. This is my GBWC build that I'm working on. But that pops right onto the end of this piece here. And then you can make mirrored panel lines on both sides because this is in the shape of a T, right? So hopefully that kind of explains the panel line jigs and stuff like that we make. Because I make a ton of them. And like I said, I've never seen anybody use them before me, but I don't want to necessarily take credit for them either because I don't know that for a fact. Yeah. So let's see. Kristen says, so you create one for a specific panel, but reusable. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. These simple L-shaped ones. These are just general ones that you can use on anything at that point. You can scribe with them. You can mark, lines. Pardon me, folks. But yeah, you can mark lines. You can transfer lines from one angle to the next because these are perfectly square. Focus. These are perfectly square on either end, so you can transfer a line from here on this angle over here to this surface. Just a whole bunch of different uses for these things as well. So, yeah, I make a ton of them. I use a ton of them. So, yep, exactly. Sam L says, I was finally able to find someone with a 3D printer to print the ones Colin created. Yeah. So Christian, over in the Mecha Army Facebook group, guy by the name of Colin Craig actually designed some for a 3D printer, right? And he's got them up, I think, on Thingiverse or something like that, but free to download and print off yourself if you happen to know anybody with a 3D printer. You can get some really quite nice ones from that. So, but alternatively, you can make your own as well, which is what I do. Brandon says, I really need to make some, and I want the ones Craig designed as well. Yeah, it's good to have a variety of them, right? Alexander says, good night, all. Might catch the WC stream. May not. Hope you all enjoy it. Stay safe, all. Alex, thank you for watching, buddy. Appreciate you. Terry T says, how big is this? To Merit, how big is this Sazabi Verlogic? The details on it are so good, and it's hard to tell the actual size of the model. Nice. Written Wisely's got a question. All right, let's reload the button here real quick.
We have a question.
They say, have you ever hydro dipped a Gundam or anyone else in the chat? I have never hydro dipped anything, for that matter. But there are people that have. Oh shit, what's his name? Tim Mather, British guy, has done that with really good success. He was able to. I forget the model that he hydro dipped. I don't think it was a Gundam, if I remember correctly. It's been probably a year or two ago since he did it. But he hydro dipped it in this kind of red carbon fiber, or he dipped it in carbon fiber and then painted red over it. I forget which. But it worked out surprisingly well. So go look up Tim Mather models, Tim Mather workshop, something like that on Facebook, and I'm sure that you will be able to find it. But yeah, Tim did a surprisingly good job with it, and it came out really, really nice. Really nice. So, Vincent Lewis says, hey, Tim, do you use a .125 chisel for anything? Not really. Mainly because I have a .15 and a .1, so that kind of falls right in the middle of both of those. So it's just like kind of odd man out situation. So no, Vince, I don't have one. I've never really kind of wanted one at that point, just because I have the other two. So yeah. Let's see. Merritt's in reply to Terry's question, he says it's about the size of the Sazabi's torso, shoulder, and backpack together. Yeah. Kristen Covezzi over there on Facebook says, maybe I can. I have a 3D printer. I can print them. Craig Design. I think so. I mean, they basically look very similar to this, but they have the numbers, of the width. I think they have the numbers actually in the body of the jig. But yeah, that sounds like it. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I don't have a 3D printer. I've never seen I've never had to, go and get the file or anything like that. Oh, hey, there's Craig. Hello, all. Saw the Just a Gun. That thing is amazing. Craig, a gentleman, Christian, over on Facebook is wanting to download your scribing jig designs and everything, so you can print them off. What is it? Craig Design? Is that what it's under? Let us know, Craig or Colin. Shit. Yeah. Written Wise, he says, if in case anyone wants to find Tim Mather, it's Tim Mather Mecha Modeling. Yeah, I could never remember that. So yeah, he's Tim had really good success with that hydro dipping. It actually shocked me because I didn't have too much of a hope for hydro dipping something like that. Came out really nice. Now, mind you, I think it'll look better on, your more kind of Zeonic, curvy style models. Probably not your more angular models, more like a Fetty design and stuff like that. But maybe for like a Cublé or something like that, probably look pretty damn good. Yeah. So, Colin, is it Craig Design? Let us know, man. Because Christian over on Facebook wants to download them and print off the scribing jigs that you made. Anywho, All right, so continuing on, yeah. Let's get the Justice arm back. Do we have it right? Yeah. Okay. Boop. All right. So anyway, all right, we got these pieces. These are good to go. We'll put these off to the side. Now, let's get to this bad boy here. Yeah. Couple things that I see straight off that I want to fix here, right? Colin says, everything is just under Hi Craig. You should be able to find them on Thingiverse or my Instagram. Okay, great. So Christian, look for Hi Craig, HICRAIG, Hi Craig. All one word, no spaces. And he says you can also find them on... oh, cool. He says he's mailed out a few. Nice. Oh, there's Christian. He's over here now on Facebook or on YouTube. Shit, listen to me. So cool. So you guys can hook that up. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Colin. Appreciate you, buddy. All right. So with that being said, let's get to this guy here right now. A couple of things that I see straight off the bat right in here, which I really, really don't like, is this little connection there, right? So we're going to cut that. We're just going to kind of square that off here. We're actually even going to trim more of that back, just like that. Kind of flatten this this box here. Perfect. Okay, so the reason why I wanted to do that is because we're going to outline scribe this thing, and by having that little weird thing there, it would have impeded scribing that, right? So let's get to it here. So for this, we're using a 0.20, and honestly, I think I've kind of gotten the 0.2 in a. I think that's more of a favorable width of chisel for outlining, and I don't know why, but I just kind of feel that right now, right? It's a little wider than obviously our 0.15, which I'm a very big fan of, but it just, I don't know. It happens to be a little bit more prominent for the shadows around a piece, where the 0.15 perimeter scribe, for me, looking at it and comparing the two now, seems to get a little lost, right? So by going just an increment wider, I feel that the pieces look a little more realistic, a little more separated, and that, you know, is ultimately what we're kind of chasing after. All right, so there's before with very little contrast, very little shadow. There's after with that scribe line in there, and that's looking good. Cool. All right, so we'll do the same thing to this side just real quick. And then we'll do the same thing here on this side like we did the other side. We're just going to cut into there, and we're just going to kind of cut that little support nub out of there, because it's just not doing it for me. And then we'll straighten these blocks out here, just like that. And okay, so there's step one. Yeah, easy, very easy. Excuse me. All right, 4:42. We got plenty of time still here. Now, want to do something on these, on the bottoms here, right? Something simple, not anything crazy, because we got crazy with the other parts of the back skirt, right? So something just simplistic, easy, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. So, what I'm thinking first, a nice subtle baseline, 1.5, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to go a little bit thicker. We're going to go 0.20. Actually, you know what? We're going to get a little crazier. Let's go 0.30. Yeah? Let's go with that. All right. Looks good there. Do the same thing on this side. Okay. Let's reinforce these lines a little bit. Nice. Do the same thing here on this side. Okay. Now, we need to transfer these lines over to this side here. Now, what we're going to do, just going to freehand right down the line, just like that. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, see, that looks really nice. I dig that. All right, let's do the same thing to this side here. Okay. Get that groove set in there. Reinforce the line. Let's see. Focus. Perfect. All right. So that looks good there. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so let's get these transferred on the inside here now. Okay. And then we'll just transfer these right down the inside of this back skirt here. And again, guys, you know, I shouldn't be showing this to you, obviously, because I'm freehanding a lot of this stuff, but please, 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 please don't do this unless you're completely comfortable with your skill set in chiseling and scribing and all that jazz, okay? If you have any trepidation, if you have any worry, if you have any hesitation, use tape. Please. Please. Okay? I'm, again, very confident in, you know, my skill set here. So I have zero issues raw dogging these lines. And that just, you know, freehanding them. Okay. Good there. Okay. Perfect. All right. Very nice. I like the look of that. Now, excuse me. Now, let's get a little more creative with this. Yeah? Let's get a little bit more creative. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our 0.15, but we're going to reverse it here, and we're just going to basically use this as a right angle guide here, right? We're going to get our 0.15, our normal panel lining chisel, and we are going to move this right up to the corner of that meets the angle break for the skirt, right? So that way we'll have a nice even look on either side. Okay. And what we're doing, just scribing in a simple panel line here. But what this will represent in the end is something cool. Okay, so let's see. There you can see a little bit that we've got just that little tip kind of sectioned off there, right? Now what we can do, we have options. We can come back in here when we go to paint, and we can paint that little tip. We can paint that red, we can paint that green, what have you, and that'll become like a safety light at that point, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to represent with that little section. So we'll do the same thing on the other side here, right? We're just gonna make it till the corner of our scribing jig hits that little angle break there, and then that is where our light is going to come into play. Just like that. Okay, now we spin this around. Get that line going there. And then, let's see. There we have two little matching points there. Yeah? I think that looks pretty dang good, if I do say so myself. So, another thing we can do is we can make two more on the other side of the skirt here. Okay. Now another thing is that you don't necessarily have to make those into lights. You don't have to paint them a corresponding color or an alternative color like red or green or what have you. You could leave those the panel color. You can let those just be you know, different parts of the armor, right? Nothing wrong with that. Okay. That looks really nice there. I like that. Very, very good. All right, so we'll do the same thing to this side here. Okay. All right. And then there's a matching side. Yeah. See, it's very, it's just a very simple, very clean look. It's very reminiscent of, if you guys are familiar with Anaheim Factory, gentleman that runs it, Anaheim Hero, creates a lot of Studio Reckless 144 resin kits and things, and you know, improves you know, Bandai models and all sorts of stuff. And his scribing is so precise and just so really just damn good and clean. It's definitely a style that I admire. So this is somewhat reminiscent kind of his style, at least a little bit anyways. So, let's continue on, shall we? Now, one thing I want to do here with these... Focus. There we go. They've got basically have these little vents or thrusters or what have you there. I want to do something with that. And we're probably going to have to end up using tape for this because there's not really much of a surface to, you know, apply a scribing jig to, right? So, with that being said, we're going to cut just, let's see, where did my scissors go? Ah, shit. Well, we're going to cut a piece of Dymo tape here. About that long. So there's that piece that we got, right? Now, I want these pieces to be roughly, I don't know, 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeters. So I'm going to put in this strip here, which is 1.5 millimeters. Lock that in position, pull that strip out, and now we're going to cut this lengthwise, and we're going to use our little L square here to hold that tape in firmly in a position. Pop that. There's one strip. Let's do that one more time. Ooh, where'd it go? There it is. And there's 2 strips, right? Put that back into position there. Pop that down. Cut that. There's 3 strips. Let's get 4. Just to be on the safe side here. Alright, so we've got 4 1.5 millimeter strips, and then we've got this leftover. Don't throw this away. Put this in your little scrap box, right? Hold that for a rainy day, because you never know when you're going to need just some, you know, thin pieces of tape for whatever, right? So hold that, you know, hold that off for something else. Let's get these strips off of the chopper here. Let's put that off to the side. All right, and then let's go ahead and get the tape peeled off the back here. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go 1.5 from the angle break on this. So right about there. Let's get that placed properly. All right. So now, let's see, back to 0.15, not 1.5, 0.15, and let's see here. Okay, got that groove set in there. Pull the tape there, and then let's do the same thing to the top side. Okay. Now we had to come up slightly from the actual vent itself to be able to connect these 2 lines. Okay. Pull that tape off of there. Very good. We've got 2 connecting lines. Let's go ahead, reinforce them. Good. Do the same thing on this side here. All right, excellent. So now we're done with the 0.15. Let's go back to 0.3, make a couple little notches in this thing. Okay. Good there. Let's use the 0.15 again to clear out the lines of debris. Little toothbrush. Clean that out. 0.3 again. Just to get these notches nice and clean and square, right? That's the important thing. Alright. That looks like a winner to me. Let's go ahead and take a look at our work, yeah? Let's see. Alright, focus. There she goes. Alright, so... let's get super zoomed in. You can't see that for nothing. Let's see. Right about there. 5x. Ooh, that contrast is still nothing, basically. So let's turn that. Yeah, you can see the little notches right there with that line. So that looks pretty good, right? And then down here you can kind of see the cleanliness of this look here, right? On both sides. I think that's just a really, really nice look. Very simplistic, very clean. And then when you match that up with what we did kind of before with this piece here, that just all kind of flows together now. Really good. Very happy with that. Very, very happy with that. Excellent. Alrighty, kids. It is, what, 5:05. So let's start putting a bow on this thing for today, shall we? Alright. Let's go back camera 1. Alrighty. Got a bunch of stuff done today. Good times. Hey, if you guys want to rep the Mecha Army, hit up www.childofmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll find this shirt, many more. You'll find hats, prints of my work, all sorts of cool stuff in there. So go load up on it. Okay? Oh, and also, new stuff coming soon. Yeah, new stuff coming soon. Like brand new stuff. So keep an eye out. That's all I'm going to say for right now. Keep an eye out. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, hit the Amazon link here just below on YouTube and Twitch. That side if you're watching on Facebook. I get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it does not increase the cost for you. it just goes to help me out, help out the stream, help fuel our endeavors moving forward, right? So go load up on that stuff as well. And then lastly, if you are interested in any model kits, paints, accessories, tools, etc., Mecha Decals, sheets 1 and 2, that's also, those are in stock and shipping now. Hit up our good friends right down here, USA Gundam Store. Adam and the fine crew down there will definitely have what you need. And then, you know, for the shits and giggles of it, let's try this. Subscribe, follow, share. If you like this content, if you like this live stream, share it with your friends. Share it in a group. Share it somewhere. And do the likey thing. The thumbs up. Yeah, not thumbs up. Yeah, do that. Because that'll help out too, right? In just a little bit, in little ways. In little ways. So why not? Yeah? All right, so with that being said, kids, I'll be back here later on this evening, and I'll be showing you guys that right there. Not too much of a sneak peek, but I'll be showing you that. We'll get super zoomed in on that, all that good stuff, and yeah, I'll explain everything that I got accomplished on that this weekend. So that should be fun. Anywho, you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. Wash your hands, be safe out there, go build something cool. I will see you guys this evening. Bye, guys.